November 2008. A massive catacomb was discovered at a road construction site in Sanandaj, northwestern Iran. Relics discovered during construction work is commonplace in Iran, as the entirety of the country itself is a historical site. But even in Iran, finding a 2-story catacomb filled with various burial goods, as well as the existence of 2 plazas and a waterway inside, was a tremendous discovery. The excavation of the century was reported simultaneously by local media, including the state-run news agency IRNA. A 36-second video of what appeared to be the excavation site went viral on YouTube as well. Surprisingly, a mummy lying in its sarcophagus was shown in the video. The mummy of a giant king was discovered. For a human mummy, it was unusually large, which was strange. Moreover, unlike the usual mummies, the body's skin was not stiff and dry, but rather perfectly preserved. The whole body was decorated with jewels and gold, coins for the eyes, and a magnificent gold crown on the head. On top of its chest was a fish-shaped gold plate embedded with Sumerian cuneiform, which resembled the relics of the ancient Iranian dynasty of Armenia. However, none of the experts involved in the excavation were able to identify the mummy, as the burial goods appeared to be a collection from different dynasties. Meanwhile, rumors about the mummy being from an ancient race of giants named Anunnaki began to spread among people. Anunnaki is a race of giants called the first civilization of humankind. In some cultures, including the Sumerian culture, they are described as gods who created humankind. According to various literature, they ruled the Middle East and they possessed advanced medical and architectural technology, although considered as a myth for a long time. Some archaeologists suggested that the Anunnaki were ancient human beings who actually lived on Earth in the distant past. Klaus Dona, an Austrian cultural heritage researcher, was among those archaeologists. Recently, the remains of human-looking giants have been unearthed in different countries in the Middle East, such as Israel, Egypt, and Iraq. They are not mere myths, they actually existed in history. In the midst of the heated argument over the giant mummy's identity, the Ministry of Cultural Heritage, Tourism and Handicrafts of Iran announced their investigation results. The unearthed catacomb is presumed to have been built during the Iron Age. Information about the mummy's identity, however, was not mentioned. The king's mummy disappeared shortly after the excavation. Currently, the whereabouts of the mummy are unconfirmed, and it is impossible to confirm whether it is a human being or another creation. Excerpt from the Ministry of Cultural Heritage, Tourism and Handicrafts of Iran's official report. Following the announcement, archaeologists involved in the excavation, including Professor Ernie Heyrnik, released their official statement. They denied the existence of the mummy, thus leaving its authenticity as a mystery. The viral video was the only proof the public had. The mummy was slowly forgotten as time passed and ended up being considered as nothing but a brief occurrence. 7 years later, on August 4, 2015, documentary filmmaker Corey Goode made a shocking claim regarding giant remains discovered in different places all over the world. "We have secured evidence of giants living on Earth. They are currently asleep in stasis chambers." The aforementioned stasis chamber is not a metaphor, but some sort of space that blocks the flow of time. The theory is that, by making the interior space a vacuum before sealing it, it will create some sort of sterile, room-like environment, thus preventing decomposition and deterioration of living things. It is similar to cryonics, a practice in which living things are preserved by freezing them with cryogenic refrigerants. It is presumed that an ancient race specializing in architecture possessed advanced architectural technology, enabling them to regulate the air pressure of the stasis chamber's interior. This allows the bodies and objects kept inside to be perfectly preserved. This explains why the giant's body remained intact, and there was no discoloration of the metal. To support his claim, Goode also released photos and videos. Among them was a video of another giant mummy, preserved in better condition than the Iranian giant mummy. Lying in the sarcophagus with a peaceful expression, the mummy looked considerably similar to the one that had previously been discovered. It resembled the Anunnaki statue depicted in Sumerian mythology. Goode further claimed that similar giant remains discovered in other places all over the world, including the United States, were concealed by authorities. He said that around the 19th century, the mysterious ancient giant tombs discovered throughout the United States were part of the giant's remains as well. Moreover, he mentioned Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, as a high-ranking figure who secretly visited the ruins in secrecy and personally witnessed the giant. This was proved in the collected works of Abraham Lincoln, published in 1905, in which the former president described his thoughts on the giant he witnessed. The eyes of that species of extinct giants, whose bones fill the mounds of America, have gazed on Niagara as ours do now. This leads us to question, who lived on Earth in ancient times? If ancient humans did create stasis chambers as good claims, then what was the reason behind preserving their bodies and keeping them intact even after death? Was it so that they will be able to open their eyes again someday, just like those who are frozen, dreaming of being treated by a more advanced medical technology in the distant future? This has been Strange Night.